A length behind them was Taz. Transatlantic now pulling clear, asserting his superiority. Heavily back to Too Good. Transatlantic first.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Final Gallop, episode 395, proudly supported by the Brisbane Airport Hotels Group. Today we will preview our 10 runners for Stradbroke Day at Eagle Farm this Saturday, the grand final of the Queensland Racing Carnival, with over $6.5 million in prize money on offer for the day. Tony, good morning. An enjoyable week already so far with Brekkie with the Stars in the barrier draw on Tuesday. How's the week gone so far for yourself?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I mean, we've had a pretty wet week. They did say the rain was coming, and I must admit, they're getting better at... If we're as good at predicting wind as they are predicting the weather at the moment, we'd be going all right, because they're doing a pretty good job. They did say this rain was coming. Yesterday was meant to be our wettest day, which it was. Breakfast with the Stars was quite a good morning. The track was terrific to work on. I mean, the barrier draw. We'll touch on our draw in the Stradbroke a little bit later, but it was done a little bit different this year, with the horses galloping and then pretty well straight into the draw. And it was great to see a lot of punters and just racing fans out there to watch what sort of goes on at track work, and then also seeing all the people getting interviewed with the barrier draw. So I think it was the first time they've done it that way, and it was got room for improvement, but it was a pretty well success.
And we'll just reflect on last week. It was a tough day last Saturday, results-wise for us, but we regrouped and had a couple of nice winners at the sunny coast on Sunday just to finish off. Graham and Zufani both running well up there.
Yeah, they were good. We went 2 for 2 on Sunday. I went to the racing mass on Sunday morning. Might have helped.
There you go.
Maybe a bit of divine intervention, I'm not sure, but that was good. We went 2 from 2 up there Sunday. We didn't get a chance to race yesterday. We had some good chances on Wednesday, but look, we roll into Stradbroke Day with some big odds chances, some horses we feel that can race good at each way odds as well. So look, we're going into the day quietly confident. Tough days racing, like big fields, big open races. Really not too many races have any standout horses. So I think it's going to be a really good day's racing on what's going to be a wet track.
And just before we get into our preview, just a special mention to Andrew Durneman, a big part of our team here. He had a big birthday yesterday. I'll leave the number to be desired.
The half century, 50, I'm going to call it, 50 yesterday. Sorry, mate, let the cat out of the bag.
Executive orders there. Sorry, mate, I tried to keep it in. But
he thinks he's 30, he's 50, no doubt. 50, 55.
So happy birthday to Andrew. Hopefully we can use some of that birthday luck over the weekend, and we will get stuck into our preview now. It is the Stradbroke Day at Eagle Farm. The rail is in the 4 metre position. Track is currently a heavy 8, as Tony just mentioned. Showers yesterday and shower forecast over the next day or two as well. It's tricky to assess how that track's going to get to.
Yeah, it is, Matty. I was talking to the guys on the track yesterday afternoon, and they thought it was somewhere between 8 and a 9. That was probably the worst the track's going to be at that stage yesterday. We had sort of rain all day with 21 mil in that front, which we were only meant to get 5 to 10. So it was a bit more than what they expected. Obviously, we're in June. Things are not going to dry out like they do when you're back in the summer. So we've got to expect, some form of wet ground. It's just a matter of how much now. It all depends on what happens the next 2 days, today, tomorrow, and then obviously on the day. I think any rain we get now leading into the meeting, or actually during the meeting, will hold this track, quite wet. So whether we're racing on heavy or whether we're racing on genuine soft, you certainly want horses to be able to at least handle the genuine soft, is my gut feel.
We'll get stuck into race 1. Is the listed Wayne Wilson Mile. We've won this race 2 years in a row with Antino and Freedom Rally. We will have Warby in this year's edition. We'll carry 59 kilos. Ryan Maloney on board and drawn barrier 1. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $51 for the win, $7.50 for the place. He's third up for his preparation now. First time out to the mile, but he's run well over 1,500 before. Doesn't get in too well at this weight for age conditions, but should enjoy getting back to the big track here.
No, he doesn't. It's a tricky race. Always half a good race, this race, every year. So it is tricky. But look, he's in good order. He loves big tracks, loves the mile. If the track was to stay heavy, we'll leave him out of it and look to Ipswich next week. But I think we just felt the bigger track suits him better. This race here will Shanghai us into races like either the Tats Mile in a fortnight or the Glasshouse at the Sunny Coast. So hence our sort of thinking. We know we're not at the right weight scale at weight for age. The weight scale only really suits about 4 horses in the race, to be honest. The bunch of them are not well suited, but his runs without threatening have been actually quite good, and you can see him running well here, but maybe not winning under the weight scale.
We'll move on to race 2. It is the listed Oxlade Stakes for 2-year-olds over 1,200 metres. We'll have Warrego River in this race. She'll carry 55 kilos with Daniel Moore on board and jump from barrier 6. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $46 for the win, $10 for the place. She's a really good winner first up at Ipswich on a heavy track, so she's ticked that box. She's only one of 2 that are tested on the heavy track as well in this edition. She's always shown us something as a 2-year-old, and she gets her chance at black type here.
Yeah, absolutely. She handles the wet ground beautifully. She's in great order. She won over 1,100 on heavy ground first up. You could see just at the end of that race, she was just wanting for fitness. That fitness has come on beautifully. She's worked well. She's sharp. She's a filly that'll put herself out of harm's way. She'll bounce out and she'll be very close to the speed, if not leading. And she's going to give a great sight. Testing 1,200 on wet ground, you know, whether the distance may be a concern late, who knows. But for me, she's a quality filly, good action. I think she's been a bit disregarded by the markets because it was an Ipswich win, but that was the only options we had for horses at the time. So I think she's, I think she's in great shape, and she's definitely one to have in exotics.
We'll move on to race 4. It is a Group 3 Gunsing Classic for 3-year-olds over 1,600 metres. We'll have 2 runners in this year's edition. First of those is State Opera. Will carry 55 kilos with CJ Graham on board and drawn barrier 4. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $34 for the win, $6.50 for the place. Winning form is good form, and she's won her past 2 in the city on rain-affected tracks, so she ticks that box. We've had this race in mind for her, getting up to the mile here. She meets a couple of quality gallopers here, but she can't be doing much more on the track.
Yeah, I mean, they just disregard the Queensland form. I mean, as you would, I suppose. I mean, she won a nice 3-year-old race on a Saturday, start of the carnival, had to go away to space had to go back to the midweek just so she could secure a run. She's dominant there on as heavy a track as I've seen Doomben race on. In fact, you couldn't even see the horses for some of the race. The rain was that heavy. So, you know, the ground's no concern, as it's starting to sprinkle again here now. The ground's no concern. Heavy track is right up her alley. She's a very, very good wet tracker. The mile is absolutely up her alley, and she loves Eagle Farm. She's way over the odds. You know, I know there's some highly touted horses from the south that are coming out of those better 3-year-old races, but I'm more than happy to race them on wet ground over a mile at Eagle Farm. I think she's a definite top 3 hope.
Beautiful. And we'll also have Power Reece in this race. She will carry 55 kilos with Declan Bates on board and drawn barrier 1. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $151 for the win, $18 for the place. She's well beaten last start on that same heavy 10 as State Opera over $13.50, but keen to get her up to the mile, which she's won at over in a previous preparation.
Yeah, the mile suits her, but the heavy ground doesn't. So she wants soft ground to run, otherwise she'll wait and go to Ipswich next week as well. And like she wants better ground and probably come back a length in grade.
We'll move on to race 5. It is a listed Hinkler Handicap over 1,200 metres, who we were lucky enough to win this race 3 years ago with King Kapa, who will get his chance again in this year's edition. But we'll touch on Pereille first. We'll carry 56.5 kilos with James McDonald on board and drawn barrier 14. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $7 for the win, $2.60 for the place. Hasn't been beaten far. He's past 2, beaten less than a length in both those starts, both at listed level. He's proven on wet ground. Just doesn't look a whole lot of tempo on paper and a tricky draw, but hopefully James can overcome that from out there.
Yeah, we're going to need a bit of a ride. The low draw would have helped us, I think, with the race lacking speed. But I think James actually ridden him before in the past when he was at Godolphin. I have to double check that, but I had a funny feeling he had. So, look, he's a horse that will really suit James's pattern. He's going to be mid to back, try and suck up and come with one dash at him. He'll hit the line really well. He loves rain-affected ground. The horse is in great order, and I've been itching to get into this race. The whole preparation's about getting to the Hinkler. So, hopefully, I think we've done a great job getting him here. The horse is in terrific condition. We really just need a few things to go our way in running.
The second runner we'll preview is King Kapa. We'll carry 55 kilos with Tommy Berry on board and drawn barrier 2. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $41 for the win and $9 for the place. Been going better than his results suggesting. A little bit disappointing last start when he was just stuck on the inside there on that Doomben track. Gets Tommy back on board, who was really good on him, running a close second in the Magic Millions earlier this year. How do you think it sets up for him from barrier 2?
I think 1,200 suits him. The ground doesn't. He wants soft or better. He wants a better side of soft, even this horse. So, he might not get the ground to suit. He's going really well. He can run well. I never worry about the odds on him. I think, more positive ride, put him on speed, giving him some room will suit him, but the track worries me.
The third runner we'll preview is about to explode. We'll carry 53 kilos with Ben Thompson on board and drawn barrier 5. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $15 for the win, $4.40 for the place. Been going really well, rising through the grades this preparation, and we've been really keen to get him back to Eagle Farm where he had such a good record. Hit him run in the Chief De Beers last start where he just didn't get clear until late, so he ticks a lot of boxes here.
Yeah, absolutely, he does. He can handle wet ground. He would prefer probably soft and heavy, but he wasn't hopeless on the heavy when we ran him on it that day at Eagle Farm. So he can take advantage of a low draw, a lightweight and a low draw he can take advantage of. So I don't think he'll be too far away and running, particularly if the tempo is not great and just present at the right part. He'll sprint really quickly, that horse. He's a, you know, if Pereille had his gate, I think Pereille would be nearly favourite. That's sort of my opinion in the run, but he doesn't have it. This horse has the gate, he'll make use of it. So he's a definite each way chance in what I think is a really open race, the Hinkler. It's going to be what horses get the right run and then present at what will be the right part of the track on Saturday, which I'd imagine we're going to be looking off fence again in the straight.
We'll move on to race 6. It is the Group 2 Dane Ripper Stakes for the fillies and mares over 1,300 metres. Won this race last year with Floozy and a couple of seasons ago with Comrade Rosa as well. We will have Savagery Vibe in this year's edition. We'll carry 56 kilos with Daniel Moore on board. She's drawn barrier 20, likely to come in to 15 after final scratchings. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $18 for the win and $5 for the place. She was super last start. Well-deserved black type winner in the listed Helen Conklin over 1,200 metres with Daniel, a beautiful steer from him. Up to 1,300 metres here, shouldn't be an issue, but the gate is tricky and just untested on the heavy track as well.
Yeah, I don't know if the ground will be that big a deal. I think she'll get through the ground okay. She can certainly handle soft, so you certainly give her a go. The barrier concerns me a little bit. We just retained a really soft run the other day off a nice low draw and were able to get through and really sprint quickly when others had to make their run on us. And we were able to hold them off. It's not going to be the same this time, is it? We're going to have to... I don't know where we get to in the run. I'm just hopeful we find our right spot. I'm not sort of worried about overthinking the barrier too much. I think we just come out and we get into the spot we want to get into, and hopefully then we can get over enough. You know, if we're 3 wide with cover, that would suit me. I'd love to be midfield here with it rather than right out the back. I just don't know whether she can sustain that long run from the back at 1,300, but it's going to be a tricky ride. We'll break the race up a bit more, Daniel and myself, as we get closer to it, looking at final fields, etc. And who knows, with the Attached Tiara 2 weeks away, some of these mares mightn't want to bottom out if this track is heavy on Saturday. You might see some scratching. So it'll be a tricky one, that race. Really happy with the horse, just not happy with the gate. Even though I do believe we will be racing off fence here on the weekend. I don't know about right down on that rail, whether that'll be any good at all.
We'll move on to race 7. It is the first of the Group 1s. It's JJ Atkins for the 2-year-olds over a mile. We will have Martist in this year's edition, a little friend behind us here today. We'll carry 57 kilos with Mark Zara on board and drawn barrier 12. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $10 for the win, $2.90 for the place. Been unlucky not to be winning his past couple of starts. Second in the Group 2, Spirit of Boom over 1,200, and then third last start as well. Just couldn't get clear. Barrier did look a little bit tricky on face value, but look, as the day progresses, might be the place to be out.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be as big a deal. There's enough sort of pressure in this race. They'll jockey up the fine spots. We're sort of mid to back and just travelling nice. I just want to see him track up and then present to the outside and have one run at them. We haven't seen him do that all prep. We've seen him going in between horses and, you know, and there's been rightfully so. We've had to save ground and get up where we had to. I think the big track of Eagle Farm, where they're really going to sail down the centre here, I could see as the day goes on, the horses are going to get wide here. If we can just get back and get that right run off speed, track up on the back of the right horse, whether it be the favourite, drawn only a couple inside of us, if we could get on the back of something like that, I think we can finish off really, really well. He's a right horse for the mile. Wet ground won't bother him. He likes the wet. He ticks all the boxes for me. I think he's over the odds in the market.
And we'll move on to race 8. It is the next Group 1 for the day, the Stradbroke Handicap over 1,400 metres. We'll have Transatlantic in this year's edition. We'll carry 55 kilos. Tommy Berry on board. Drawn barrier 18 at the barrier draw on Tuesday, but likely to come in a couple with a final field. Early odds with Ladbrokes are $9.50 for the win and $3.40 for the place. Hasn't been far off him in the Victory Stakes and then the Kingsford Smith last start, where it was a tough day to lead, and he was just beaten in a tight finish there. He ticks a lot of boxes on the heavy track, gets him better at the weights here, and Tommy's had the benefit of a couple of rides on him in the springtime as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think the other day, it was a tough day to lead down rail, which we kind of knew it was. But we remember he was a month or 20 runs into it without a trial because of the rain. He just jumped and raced a bit fresh, I thought, early. And as Ryan was still trying to settle him, get him into the race, Jamie Mellon jumped on him quite quick with another wheel. And it just made the race, it just brought him off the bridle that little bit earlier than what we sort of wanted. He fought through the line great. Until he got tightened up late, he was actually coming back on another wheel. Like he was going to push it up to run forth. So I think the horse is going great. He's got really into his groove now. He's had 2 weeks into this, that third up run. The difference in him is astronomical looking at him. He's really just going about his business now. He's not too fresh. He's not that horse that's overexpending energy where he doesn't need to. He's sort of really switched and focused. So it wouldn't bother me if I took it up here in the Stradbroke at all, from where we're drawn. Happy just to roll along. We saw him win a Toorak, going at a good gallop all the way for a mile, and really brought him undone doing that. And with 55 on our back and a horse that can handle wet and heavy ground, very good wet tracker, I'll be more than happy to take this race by the scruff of the neck and play it like that. I think Tommy knows what the horse can do. He knows he's ridden him out to 1800. He's won on him decisively at Randwick over 1500. He's led and run a strong mile in the Toorak under handicapped conditions. I'm more than happy to take control of this race and put him there. I think the horse is absolutely spot on, and I think he'll shake the hell out of this.
Sounds good. Now, Tony, we'll move on to the final furlong of the Final Gallop on Stradbroke Day at Eagle Farm this Saturday. Who's your best winning chance on the card there?
Transatlantic.
Transatlantic, short and sweet, very good. And best each way chance for the punters on the day?
Pereille needed J-Max special.
Sounds good. And possibly a tough weekend at the Provincials, obviously with this weather around, meetings getting moved around and whatnot. Possibly Bow Desert tomorrow, Gold Coast, Sunny Coast. Looks like they're getting moved to the Poly. Anything for the punters there?
I think with the uncertainty around the Provincials this week, we might struggle. So I think we might leave the Provincials alone. We'll have a really strong hand in next Wednesday, and then Thursday, whatever Ipswich the week later. We've got some pretty nice horses coming up for the midweek sort of meetings and Provincials. But I think this week, with the uncertainty of this weather, we might leave Saturday alone.
Sounds good. And just on Tuesday morning, big morning of track work. A couple of boys out in the course proper there. Anything that really caught your eye on Tuesday morning?
The other Transatlantic was spot on. Just the work I wanted to see. Ryan galloped him at another will, and who stays here with us for Kieran. And I thought both those two old horses worked great, and he couldn't split them off their backs. And I thought Transatlantic worked fantastic. He just did the work that I wanted to see leading into this race. He was all well in control within himself, and he wasn't wanting to overdo things. He was just a really happy horse. And I know Stewie Hinks, who rides him every other day, I think the horse feels great. So I think he was my pick of the work. Martist was fantastic. He followed another will in his work a fair way back and had a bit to look around at, like he does, lays in and mucks around. But he had a piglet when he pulled up. So very fit, healthy horses, both of those two. So really happy with both their Group 1 runners.
Exciting times moving into the weekend. And now it is time for Cab's Corner for this week, proudly supported by the Brisbane Airport Hotels Group. The less that is said about last week's multi, the better. So we'll just move straight into this week's edition. So we'll see what Cab's got for the punters this week.
Welcome to Cab's Corner for this week. No joy last week, but this week we'll travel Eagle Farm. We'll go Pereille a place into Martist a place. Good punting, guys.
So Tony, he's gone Pereille a place into Martist a place.
Well, he's gone the place.
Yes.
At least he's left Transatlantic alone, so I'm actually feeling pretty good about that now. So you can back him with confidence, team. But he's place multi. It's always been his best one. It's always been his best, most performing of his underperforming multis. This is his best.
Best of a bad bunch.
It's amazing Cav and Andrew are the same age, isn't it?
Oh, really?
They're both 50. I just thought of that then. Well, they should have joint birthdays.
We'll see if we can. If we get the win over the weekend, maybe we can have a celebration for both of them.
We might get a cake for him Saturday night.
There you go. They can both blow out the candles.
Yeah, both blow out the candles together.
That'll be a nice little moment. So, look, exciting week we've had moving into the grand final this weekend of the Stradbroke Day. Look, hopefully we've got a good team there. Hopefully the weather can play its part and we can hopefully get some joy on the big day.
Well, as you've seen, a lot of ours can handle the wet ground, can handle the heavy, so we're not as stressed going into this meeting. But yeah, look, it'll be a good day. I implore people to get out there. It's a great day, Stradbroke Day. It's the best day of the year. If you love your racing up here in Queensland, this is our day. What better race is there than a full handicap field of horses thundering around Eagle Farm? It's unreal. So, if you've got nothing on Saturday's team, get out to Eagle Farm, enjoy Stradbroke Days. I know we will.
Definitely.
But win, lose or draw, we're going to do our best Saturday and I'm sure we're going to have a really, really good day. A lot of wet trackers.
Sounds good. Good luck, punters. Cheers.